What's up, Packer fans? Welcome back to the Pack a Day podcast. I'm your host, Andy Herman. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. Appreciate you joining me today. Let me just start up front by telling you that I don't think today's episode is going to win any YouTube awards or Webbies. I don't think it's going to be my highest rated or highest viewed episode ever. Probably a little bit lower when it comes to the analytics on today's episode, but I'm excited to talk to it nonetheless. And hey, listen, when you do this 365 days a year, they're not all going to be 100% perfect bangers, right? So give me a little bit of slack here. There's 600 other episodes if this isn't exactly your cup of tea, but I'm actually really excited to talk about this topic. I don't think I'm going to go in too much detail with it, but I want to talk a little bit about John Madden and him being on and gracing the cover of the newest Madden 23. I'll get to that in just a second. I do want to quickly talk about the match. I did not watch the match, not exactly my cup of tea, but Aaron Rodgers did sink the last putt to win the match for Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So they take out Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. So Brady and Rodgers pick up the win with a huge assist to Rodgers on the final putt to pick up the win again over Allen and Mahomes. So kudos to Brady and Rodgers for picking up the win in that event. But I wanted to talk about John Madden and him gracing the cover of Madden 23. First of all, I think this is really well done by EA Sports by putting him back on the cover. Obviously with him passing away, it just seemed to make so much sense that this would be the direction that they would go in. But sometimes common sense doesn't always win out. They've had players on it for just about ever now. And, I'm sure a lot of people, maybe even some people listening to this, didn't even know who Madden was. You just synonymous with the video game, right? But John Madden as an announcer, as a head coach, as a video game character, even and has been a larger than life personality. And, to be able to put him back on the cover, I think is a really cool gesture. And again, kudos to EA Sports for going in that direction. 3 really cool covers for Madden. And again, all of them are John Madden put, back on the cover. So love to see that. And just to reminisce for a second, I think it was Madden 95 for me, and I'm just aging myself here wonderfully, but I think it was Madden 95 that really got me hooked on the series. And I think I had every single one since then. I don't think I ever missed a Madden after that. And I remember specifically getting Madden 95 for Christmas that year, and it's still being one of my favorite Christmas gifts to this day. And it's still one of those that just sticks out in my mind. And, you have to remember back in the day, there was NFL Quarterback Club, and there was Blitz, and there was Madden, and there were a couple other games out there as well. So you had options, you had choices, and, you rented video games and you would try all these different ones. But to me, it was right around Madden 95 that, Madden and EA Sports became synonymous with football video games. And there's certainly been some ups and downs. The, franchise mode and the coach mode, and some of those have taken maybe a little bit of a turn for the worse at times. And it's gone into a direction where you're trying to, sell everyone on packs of cards and downloadables and things like that, which is sort of the state of the video game community. So I definitely would like to see EA, improve some things, but it has still been a huge piece of not just my story, but a lot of people's NFL story, and really a piece of Americana in a lot of ways, what John Madden and that football game has brought to this nation. I mean, it's one of the most highly played video games of all time. And it's a really iconic franchise with an iconic coach, and it's great to see that iconic coach back on it. And the last thing I'll say, I played Madden competitively in tournaments, and I was ranked in, I believe, the top 100 if memory serves on PSN back in the day. But that's not humble brag, obviously, but or not so humble brag. But more importantly, Madden really helped shape a lot of my, some of my football knowledge. Not all of it. It's not perfect, right? It definitely gets some things wrong, but just basic coverages and cover 2 and cover 3 and cover 4 and how some of those, base concepts work, and, offensive formations and defensive formations. And that really went a long way in starting to set a foundation. And again, you go back to Madden 95 and 11 years old, 12 years old when I start playing that game. So a lot of those really set the foundations. And again, it's a very iconic franchise, and really happy to see them pay off their namesake by putting John Madden on the cover. I figured I would wrap this up by putting a Packers spin on things just really quickly. Madden's done a better job over the last handful of years of updating the ratings in season. So usually in the past, you would get to like a certain point and like the ratings were just so outdated, but they update ratings just about every week now. And you know, they do a pretty good job of it overall. But I'm going to quickly list 10 Packers that I think are going to need better ratings at some point this upcoming season. I think arguably all of them should have better ratings as of now, but I'll go in order. Number 1 is Aaron Rodgers. Listen, he was a 95 overall to end last season, which isn't bad. That's a really good rating. But the dude's the back-to-back MVP of the league. Like, if he's the most valuable player in the league, we should probably be pushing closer to that 99 overall rating. Even if not, probably should at least be a 97, 98. So they need to improve that 95 up a few notches, in my opinion. Number 2 is Eric Stokes, who finished the season as a 75 overall. Just for funsies, let's just say that Kevin King was a 75 overall to end last season, and that just doesn't seem right. So Eric Stokes definitely deserving. You know, I think you could make an argument that he could probably get in the 80s sooner rather than later, but should probably at least be around a 78, 79 at minimum to begin the season. Next up is Devondre Campbell at an 85 overall. I think that's fairly close to being right. However, this is a first-team All-Pro from a season ago, had a tremendous season. I feel like first-team All-Pro should at least get you in that 88 range, so would like to see a few spots higher for the one and only Devondre Campbell. Number 4, John Runyon Jr. came in at a 72 overall to end the season last year. Listen, maybe it's just me. I am very high on John Runyon Jr. I thought he had a very nice season last year. I would argue that he was the MVP of the offensive line. When you look at total snaps, and with Jenkins going down, Bakhtiari never playing, other than a handful of snaps. I just thought that Runyon was their most consistent offensive lineman through the majority of last year. And that's not nothing, right? So I would like to see Runyon, frankly, around like a 78 and get a pretty significant jump at minimum. So him at 72 seems very low to me. Number 5 is another offensive lineman, Yash Nijman. So he's a 64 overall. And to me, if you're a serviceable swing tackle, you should be closer in that 68, 69, 70 range at minimum. So even if it's a 68, right, Yash to me should at least get about a 4-point swing in the positive direction to even that out a little bit more. Number 6 is a new Packer, Kayshawn Nixon, a 63 overall. Probably not too far from wrong if we're being fair and honest. It's not like Nixon tore it up with the Raiders. He was more of like a vet minimum signing for Green Bay. But this is somebody who's probably going to be the Packers' number 4 corner. You know, Chandon Sullivan in that slot situation was, in the 70s. I just think Nixon probably should be closer to 65, 66. I think if he shows anything on the field, that number should continue to improve throughout the course of the season. Number 7 is Patrick Taylor. He's a 56 overall. And listen, I am sorry, Patrick Taylor, just like put on any film of Patrick Taylor and you will notice that he is not one of the worst players in all of football and deserving of a 56 overall grade. I get that he has barely played in very few snaps and has been injured, but get my man up to a 60 at least. He is talented enough to at least be a 60 overall. Number 8 is Tyler Davis. He is a 61 overall. And listen, I get that. Like, he's played a handful of snaps, and it's not like the EA developers knew that he was going to be, such a buzzworthy player this offseason for the Packers. But listen, I think I've said it 4 episodes in a row now. I think Tyler Davis is going to be the Packers' number 1 tight end when camp breaks. So I would like to see that closer to a 70 at some point. But 61 either way still seems a tad bit low for Tyler Davis. Number 9, sort of same thing here, TJ Slayton. Like, I think 67 is probably around right for what he showed on film a season ago, 5th round pick, rookie, etc. But in his second year, I think he has a real opportunity to take a jump and would like to see him get to about a 70 rating sooner rather than later. And last but not least is number 10, Josiah DeGuara, 68 overall. I don't think too far off here, but another player I would like to see in that 70, low 70 range. I think he's just a really nice, serviceable player that can do a variety of different things, and just a nice round 70 seems about right for DeGuara. So super appreciative of John Madden being back on the cover of Madden and excited to pick that up this upcoming year. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady win the match. And the 10 Packers that I would like to see their Madden ratings improve this season: Aaron Rodgers, Eric Stokes, Devondre Campbell, John Runyon Jr., Yosh Nijman, Kayshawn Nixon, Patrick Taylor, Tyler Davis, TJ Slayton, and Josiah DeGuara. That does it for me today. Make sure to like and subscribe this episode. I'm probably going to need the extra likes today because I don't think this is going to be a super popular topic, so just do me a solid. I'll be right back here tomorrow with a little bit more of a deep dive into something. I don't know what yet, but it won't be Madden ratings, I promise you that. But until next time, and as always, go Pack Go.